Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Riccardo Busetti and today I am gonna talk to you about which programming languages are, for me, the best to learn in 2019. So let's get started. At the first place we have JavaScript. JavaScript is a programming language or scripting language which was developed to create dynamic web pages. This language enabled the programmers to create web pages that were reacting to users' input and also were able to create dynamic content, thanks to libraries like the XML HTTP request and the basic HTTP request. This language, I highly suggest you to learn it because it's really simple and you can build a lot of things. In fact, after the main uses which were in web development, JavaScript is also used right now for server-side development thanks to frameworks like Node.js, and it's also used for mobile applications thanks to the framework developed by Facebook, which is React Native. In my experience, I have used JavaScript mainly to develop websites and also applications. I've never used it for server-side development because as JavaScript is a dynamically typed language, I don't think it is so safe to build complex web services because as a dynamically typed language, you are not able to find errors during the compilation, but errors regarding data types will occur during the execution of the program. And so if you have a huge code base which needs to be really resilient and safe, using JavaScript, in my opinion, is not the best choice. But it's a really fun and easy to learn programming language. At the second place we have Python. Python is a language which is exploding in the latest years because of its simplicity and also the fact that the community heavily supports this language. This programming language is an interpreted high-level programming language which is based on C, and it was developed in the 1991. Python is also a dynamically typed language, so it's really similar to JavaScript in that sense, but you can use it for a lot of things. For example, you can build simple scripts that run on your PC, you can build web services, you can build a lot of things, especially because, as I said previously, you have a lot of different libraries which let you create really nice programs with a lot less effort than any other language currently in the computer science world. The cool thing about Python is that, as I said, it has a lot of libraries which you can use to build the most amazing programs with the least amount of effort. And this is really important to take in consideration, especially if you're starting to develop new products with no previous experience. In my experience, I've used Python in the scientific field of my experience, and so I've worked with it managing medical images mainly. And thanks to the load of libraries that I had, I could perform some advanced interpolation techniques on these images with a really small effort. So I highly suggest you to learn this language if you want especially to focus on science. So if you want to apply science and programming together, Python is currently the best programming language to do so, period. At the third place we have Kotlin. Kotlin is a programming language which was developed by JetBrains, and it's an open source statically typed programming language which was initially and it is now based on the JVM, but they are also working on the native version of Kotlin. This programming language is my favorite, so I might be a bit biased to showing it to you, but I mainly used it to develop Android applications because, as you know, Google announced a few years ago the official translation and support for Kotlin into the Android framework. And this language, in my opinion, is really cool to learn because it's getting a lot of attention by developers, especially because now they also, as I told you, created the native version of Kotlin, and they are also able to port this to iOS. So there were some sample apps we built with Kotlin on iOS. Another great thing is that Kotlin, as a statistically typed language, it's really safe to use and it has a lot of modern, powerful features for a programming language. So you can use it also for server-side development, creating a really nice code base, especially because Kotlin has a lot of syntax sugars and some cool features which let you define domain-specific languages with ease, and so your whole code base will look way prettier, in my opinion, than any other language I've tried so far right now. In my experience, I have used Kotlin mainly to develop Android apps, but I might also take some experimentation and try to build some web services and RESTful APIs with it, because I think it's a really nice programming language. I highly suggest you to try this programming language, maybe not as a first programming language, but if you have some experience, because it's not super easy and straightforward like Python and JavaScript, and maybe you need some expertise before with other programming languages. The fourth programming language I suggest you to learn is Go. I've never tried this language, but because it's vastly used for distributed systems, this is one of the languages I'm most willing to learn in the next few months. This programming language was developed by Google, and the main focus of this programming language is letting you build multi-threading apps really easily. Because, for example, you have cool features like Go routines inside of the language, which let you perform asynchronous operation in a really nice way, especially because, as you might know, performing asynchronous operation with multiple threads can get really difficult, and the code base can get really bad because you have a lot of nested statements which are running on different threads, and also the communication between threads becomes difficult. As I told you, in my experience, I've never used Go, but I think it's one of the best languages to learn for sure, because as we know, cloud computing and distributed systems are like one of the most hot fields right now in the Eastern industry, especially because most of the computation is nowadays moved to the cloud. And the fifth language or languages you should learn are the ones from the family of C, so C and C++. As we know, C and C++ are one of the first programming languages which appeared in the history, and they were used vastly on a lot of things. For example, most operating systems are created and written with a huge code base in C or C++, and these languages are mainly used because of their efficiency. And so the applications of these languages are mainly low level. But these languages obviously are a bit tougher to learn. Indeed, if you are starting programming, I don't suggest you to start with C or C++, because otherwise you might drop programming in a few hours because they are tough to learn at first. But if you have some background of how computer works and how computer memory works and the computations, you might find it easier to learn. So you have a lot of applications for these languages. You can basically create anything, and I suggest you to learn those if you want to be serious about programming. And so I think that every programmer should know C and C++ because they are the fathers of the modern programming languages. Thanks for watching, that's it for this video. I hope you like it. Write down in the comments below your feedback and your favorite programming languages right now. I am really curious about it. Leave a like down the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for the latest content I will publish in the next weeks. Bye!